good in space, yay.
Okay, we in frame?
Yep, we're good.
All right, everybody smile.
Y'all want to sit in the lap?
I know you are not complaining about having two gorgeous women on either
No,
side.
it's no bad deal.
I know.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
don't
way over here, fine, okay.
tell
Press
my
the
wife.
button, Ro. Well, hello, this is Susan Hamilton, and you've tuned into the Offbeat Business Show. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable lunch hour with us. Our entire month of May is all about celebrating veterans and talking about the situations that are going on in our community and how veterans have impacted us in business. And I've got some interesting guests with us today that I think you're really going to enjoy. I'm talking to Mindy Moser and Jim Blythe. And we are going to talk about some things that I bet you didn't know are going on in American veteran situations today. Mindy, this is fascinating. A veteran court?
Veterans Court, Veterans Diversion Court to be specific.
Help us understand what that even is.
Well, it was a program started in New Jersey in 2009, and it is specifically designed for veterans, combat veterans that are suffering from dual diagnosis, which is PTSD, traumatic brain injury, and addiction issues. And there is, I meant to mention this not too long ago, but there is actual wording in our statute where it's other hazardous duties. So we're trying to get more of the more veterans involved with it. And what that does, if they get certain felonies and certain arrests on their records, they go through this program, and it is a unique program. It lasts for about 18 to 24 months. They go through intense therapy. They go through cognitive therapy. They go through, VA gets involved. And what happens is over this time, they start to transform and they learn how to become productive citizens. And at the end, when they graduate, it is phenomenal because their records get expunged, their fingerprints come off for that.
Provided they go through the program.
And they graduate,
Okay.
and they graduate. And I think the thing that there's such a reward at the end, and I'm not just talking about the expungement, it is, and I heard this best described on one of our shows.
Mm-hmm. And Jim and Mindy have a show on KVCE.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, you've got one of the most important ones you'll be doing later on this evening. So
It's on entrepreneurship,
Oh,
which is
wonderful.
a big advocate, which you are.
yeah,
Judge Garcia, he's the judge for Denton County's Diversion Court, and he said something that just touched my soul, because he said the victims' families want them to go through this program because it is that much of a change in their lives.
oh, I work actively with the criminal justice system, and I feel exactly the same way in those areas. And we do not understand how much mental health issues and
Right.
educational issues and trauma in our life
Right.
really impacts everything. So I'm very excited that you're making headway through this program and you're developing some influence in here.
Yeah, and it's really bringing awareness. I have the most wonderful life. I really do. I get to meet the most amazing people and get to talk about issues that I'm incredibly passionate about. And I guarantee you, I don't know a stranger. And somehow, some way, some shape or form, I'm talking about veterans issues and veterans diversion courts. Several of your guests have talked about honor, courage, and commitment. That's something that we believe in, and drawing that attention is the 22 veterans that we lose every day to suicide. And it's just,
And you told me that number's not even accurate.
right. And,
No.
I am that person that reads the reports to Congress, and there was a report to Congress, and we can count for 22, right? We can count the 22. There's actually 35 veterans that we lose. That is the number, but we're only able to count the 22 because they get underreported, or the coroners don't necessarily put the 2 and 2 together. And I mean, that is mind blowing. I mean, the average suicide rate in America is 9. And speaking of, we've got the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention Walk coming, and this is what touched my soul too, as I'm talking to their organizers. And I said, they didn't even know that there were 22 veterans a day that committed suicide. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, and you wear the beads in memory of the people that you lose. And I was
Okay,
like,
so now I spoke with Idly, and she's talking about a ring, and you're talking about beads. Is this the same
it's
support?
not the same, but they're two different organizations with two different avenues for reaching people as far as getting that message out. And it's phenomenal because when I talk to people from New York, or I talk to people from Dallas, or I talk to people from LA, and everywhere in between, you know, that is something that always comes up in conversation because it is such an important issue. And actually, there was a great article that I sent to you, it was last week, I think, about the new beliefs on why we have the suicide rate as high as it is and how our combat vets, and it's just the why. It's just the why, and it's the fact that they've seen, you know, the more death and more atrocity that they've seen, the higher rate of suicide. It's correlated, directly correlated. And so, I'm bringing it back to diversion court. When our veterans get back, you know, because of what they have seen, and part of that's our organization, We Six Who See. We understand you have seen horrible, horrible things.
I'm going to have you repeat that.
We Six Who See, and it's we6whosee.com. You know, let us be your eyes for a little bit, you know, until we can get your vision readjusted.
Oh, wow.
Because
That's beautiful.
You know, because you've seen horrible things, and I don't need to know. I mean, and I don't ever ask war stories because you know, whatever they choose to share with me is obviously, I want them to. But they come back, they start to self-medicate. There are those mental health issues.
Sure.
Factor in those traumatic brain issues and the PTS, post-traumatic
And
stress.
I think most human beings self-medicate anyway. And
Well,
you add all the stressors involved, and you don't
trauma.
know where to stop. It
Right.
gets really heavy really fast.
It gets very heavy very fast, and they get in trouble, and you know they get the DUIs, the DWIs, they get some issues and instances of domestic violence, and because of the anger that is associated with that, and so these programs are developed and in practice and in place for the care of those veterans, and for them to remember who they are.
Now, Mindy, you're a patriot. You're an intense patriot. But are you a veteran yourself?
I'm not. I come from a long line. One of my grandfathers was at Pearl Harbor the day it was bombed. My other grandfather landed on Normandy Beach. My biological father is a Vietnam veteran, and then cousins and relatives. So it runs pretty thick in my family.
And in your relationships, because
Yes.
Jim's a veteran. Jim, tell us about your service.
Well, I did 3 combat tours of Vietnam on aircraft carriers. I was on the Oriskany and the Hancock. My first division officer was Lieutenant Commander John McCain.
Oh, wow.
My squadron, we had the highest casualty rate in the Navy, and we had 5 POWs in Hanoi.
So you've seen a thing or two.
Yeah, but not compared to the guys in country. I was very fortunate to be on carriers and work with the pilots and with the people that were doing it. And I was there in '67 when we saw the worst of it, and '68, and then back in '70. So
We thank you so much for your service, and I just think it's interesting how relationships develop over time. Look at, you guys have a long friendship. I can tell that you are very good friends.
actually, she was a guest on one of the first shows I did.
Oh, really?
For KVCE, and we became good friends. And then I am on the board of Heroes House, and what we're doing is we're building apartments, permanent housing for veterans, and I'm a certified senior advisor. And so I put Mindy's group and my group together, and so we're going to be providing more than just housing. We're going to be providing recovery, we're going to be education, all of the things that are needed to really have a full life and go forward.
I think that is so exciting. Friends, does this interest you? Because it certainly interests me, and I could hear about this for hours. But we've only got 20 minutes over lunch, and we're going to go to break. And when we come back, we're going to talk more with Mindy Moser and with Jim Blythe, and we're going to learn about housing and criminal justice and the Veterans Court, and what we can do as business owners to support these efforts and support the veterans that are just too valuable in our community to discard. And we have a responsibility, so let's step up and take it.
Good.
Okey-doke. So how long is that then that we wait in between?
Do it.
How long do we wait for that?